Hey Taurus, welcome to the Path Illuminated. My name is Kimberly. This is going to be an energy reading for the Taurus Collective. When you find this reading, there will be something here for you. I'm gonna give y'all cards, another shuffle, and then we'll get going. All right, let's see what Spirit has to say. Thank you, angels, spirits, and guides. What are the messages for the Taurus Collective at this time? Thank you, angels, spirits, and guides. Ooh. Okay, let's get one more card, Taurus. See what the energies have to say. It's cold and rainy over here, and I've had this space heater on, but I don't want it to mess with the sound. Okay, so Page of Pentacles, first card out, Taurus. So this is often a card of a student. So I'm getting that there's something that you're having an opportunity to learn at this time. Now, given the fact that it's Pentacles, it could potentially be like a new skill, a new trade, a language, or just maybe I'm hearing like the way that you're operating in the world, the way that you deal with people, whatever it is, it's Pentacle energy, so it's Earth energy. So it's a really, it's something that's going to be that you're learning in your 3D reality, which is why I was saying, right? Like you could be learning a new skill, a new trade. I'm hearing like maybe learning how to garden. Could be any number of things depending on how this is hitting you. But again, like I did hear how you operate in the world, right? Maybe there are opportunities for you to get to know different people in your community. Maybe you're learning sort of how to show up in more of your life, right? I'm trying to figure out how to really articulate this the way that I'm feeling the energy. But I'm just getting that you are like flexing a new muscle. You're learning something new, and it could be an actual skill, like I said, you know, learning how to garden, learning a language. But again, it could just be like learning how to show up in a new and a different way, right? And it's something new because you're learning in this Page of Pentacles energy. So, you know, like it could at times feel a little bit of a challenge, but I get the sense that you're excited about this. We have the Five of Swords, so that's where I'm getting the discomfort. Whatever this thing is, this skill that you're learning, I feel that it can be very triggering for a lot of your insecurities. Like as the example that I use, like if you're learning a new language, right? Learning a new language is amazing, but when you're starting to learn that language, you can lack confidence because you're like, oh, like I only know a few words and my accent's terrible. And that's one of the biggest challenges to learning a new language is it takes time, it takes effort. You can start to overthink yourself. You can start to doubt yourself. You can start to like almost sabotage yourself and be like, oh, well, I'm clearly not doing good enough, but you've only been at it for a few weeks, right? And it could be triggering your confidence too, because you're afraid of like how people are going to view you, and you could be a little bit triggered around that. I'm also getting like, again, like I was saying, if you're showing up in a different way in your community, if you're trying to make community connections, if you're trying to make new friends, right, that can be very triggering for the ego. So I'm definitely getting like some inner conflict, some overthinking, some triggers. So it's just something to be aware of, like that's totally normal and natural when you're learning something new, when you're showing up in a new way, when you're doing things in a different way, right? The ego is going to can create problems that don't actually exist because it feels your anxiety, it feels your discomfort, and it automatically defines that as being dangerous, right? Like our amygdala doesn't know the difference between anxiety and excitement. So this is about taking control of your mind space so that you give yourself the time, the opportunity, the chance to move into this new way of being. After a time of, we got the hermit but reverse, so it's like I feel like you're coming out of hermit mode, and that's part of this discomfort, right? I feel like maybe you've been in hermit mode for a while, which is totally not bad, right? But the hermit mode is not meant to last forever, right? So you may have been doing a lot of deep internal work that required a certain level of isolation, and like you're coming out of that, right? You're doing something new. You're like, okay, I've spent this time, you know, contemplating and meditation, working on my spiritual practices, deepening my, you know, my relationship to self. And now I'm ready to get out there. And again, like doing something new, operating something new, deciding to take up a new skill, deciding to learn something new, deciding to show up differently, right? After being in this hermit mode of pulling your energy back. And that also can be triggering, right? Because like it sometimes is just easier when we're pulled back, when we're staying to ourselves, when we're in that hermit mode, when we're in our cave, right? It can start to be really, really comfortable. So I'm definitely getting a lot of that energy of getting out of your comfort zone right now. And just like be aware again of those thoughts, of those feelings, of those triggers that are coming up and why they're coming up. Just because you're being triggered, just because you're dealing with that discomfort of like learning something new, moving in a different way, showing up and expressing yourself differently doesn't mean it's bad. It just means like, you know, you've been in hermit mode for a while, so it makes sense that this would be uncomfortable for you, right? Like give yourself time to lean into this and to learn how to gain your footing when this is something new, right? Doing something new, learning something new, it takes time. We don't want to just turn around and run away from the opportunity simply because it's uncomfortable. Taurus, what else do we have for my Taurus collective here? Okay, cards. Ooh. Okay, so interesting. Next card out is the Eight of Swords, but it's reversed. So this is definitely like Eight of Swords upright is about being stuck in a mental prison. As you come out of hermit mode, you are going to have more and more opportunities to get out of your own way and to stop trapping yourself, right? By telling yourself, oh, I can't do this because of that. Oh, well, I can't say this because of that. Oh, well, I'm not good enough because this person does it that way. Oh, well, you know, these people aren't going to accept me because of XYZ. It's like you can come up with a lot of excuses and a lot of reasons and mentally trap yourself, but coming out of hermit mode is the opportunity to reframe that perspective and to identify, right, those thought forms and those programs that keep you shut off, keep you shut down, keep you scared, right? And you can sometimes lie to yourself, right, and be like, oh, well, I'm just, you know, I'm trying to be smart about this. And it's like, no, 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 no. Like, you can talk yourself out of almost anything if you let your mind play tricks on you. But you've been in hermit mode so that you could get to know your inner self, so that when these mind tricks come into play, when these thought forms come into play, when your insecurity is triggered, you have the ability to take those mental programs that are stopping you from learning the new language, learning the new skill, making that new contact, and say like, no, I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to give myself a chance to show up and to do something different, right? And like, you have the ability, we have the Tower reversed. No matter what happens, Taurus, you're going to be fine, right? Like, that's what I'm getting from this. It's like you can, what's the word? You can talk yourself into being so afraid of what could happen, right? Like worst case scenario. Or you could remind yourself that you've lived enough life and you've been through enough things that you know, one, you have no control over what's going to happen outside of yourself. And two, if you're here, that means that everything that has happened in your life, you have overcome, even in those moments when it was unexpected and you didn't know how, right? So it's like, again, I'm getting this really, really heavy sense that, like, you don't need to stop yourself from taking this chance, taking this opportunity, learning this new skill, putting yourself out there, expressing yourself, making new connections. And the only thing that's going to stop you is fear of the unknown. Don't catastrophize, right? Don't catastrophize yourself into a place of mental prison, right? Like, no matter what happens, Tower reverse, you're going to be fine. You're well equipped to deal with it, but you need to be reminding yourself of that. That's why you were in hermit mode, was to build that self-confidence, to know that no matter what happens, Taurus, you're going to be fine, right? Fear of the unknown can become a very real prison. But I'm seeing here that you've done the work to overcome, those thoughts that ego that wants to stop you from moving in this new way. So you have the skill set. You just have to go through that process of reframing, like, why am I hesitant? Why am I feeling a lack of confidence? Why am I fearing fearful? And, like, be honest with yourself, right? That's your ego that's stopping you from doing what it is you want to do, right? Like, couple more cards here, Virgo. Not sorry, Virgo. Taurus. Interesting. I just did Virgo before you, so I'm sorry about that. Oh. Okay. So Queen of Swords reverse is giving me, your mind is going to play tricks on you, and it's your job to take control of your mind space, like I was just saying. You're not going to be able to overthink yourself into confidence, because it's a feeling, it's an inner knowing, right? So your mind is going to play tricks on you, and your ego does that to keep yourself safe. But I get the sense that, like, this isn't unsafe, it's just uncomfortable, right? It's just learning something new. It's just putting yourself in a place where things are not going to be perfect, things are not necessarily going to be easy. And again, like, you can let your mind and your ego stop you from getting into a new skill, meeting somebody new, developing new community, all these sorts of things, right? But you have to understand that your mind is extremely limited, right? And if you get stuck in that overthinking, you're never going to move forward. So understand, like, your mind is a tool, but it's not the truth, right? It's not the gospel truth. And it's your job, right, to go deeper into yourself, to remember, right, all of the work that you've been doing when you were in hermit mode, to come to this place of being able to tap into a knowing and a confidence that is deeper than what the mind space would have you believe. And then we have the Tower upright. There are going to be things that happen that are unexpected. Like, the Tower, in this sense, being upright, is just giving me a confirmation that there is very likely triggers that are happening simply because the world around us right now is in complete and utter chaos, right? So when you're sensing that, when you're feeling that, Taurus, like, it can be really easy, again, for that mind space to invert the information and the data that you're picking up, and to catastrophize, right? And it can become almost debilitating because you're so afraid of what could happen, of the unknown. This is just, to me, a confirmation that, like, if a tower is going to happen to us, a tower is going to happen, right? You can sit there and try to predict it. You can sit there and be so afraid of the unknown that you do nothing, or you can just accept that towers happen almost every single day, right? And it's out of your control. The thing you control is your response and your perspective. Queen of Coins, you have everything you need to deal with what comes your way, whether it is happening on a collective level or an individual level, right? Like, you have the ability to tap into that, again, that inner confidence, that inner knowing, that inner groundedness of knowing who you are, and remembering that your self-confidence, your abundance, right, does not depend on external forces. This is the work that you've been doing. This is the groundedness that you've been cultivating. This is everything that you've been working on to get you to this point, to be able to learn something new, to do something new, to operate in a new way. But you have to find that confidence within. And when there are these triggers, when there are these thought forms, when there are these opportunities for you, right, to decide, am I going to shrink back or am I going to move forward? You have to remind yourself of who you are. You are this queen of coins. You are abundant. You are grounded. You are fertile, right? You have everything that you need, but you have to remind yourself in those moments when you're feeling hesitant, when you're feeling a lack of confidence, when you're feeling triggered in any way, right? Like, remind yourself of who you are, Taurus. One more card here for my Taurus. So it's interesting. We have the Queen of Coins and then the Queen of Wands reverse. So with these two cards right next to each other, I'm hearing, Taurus, confidence is not a feeling, it is a knowing. Confidence is not a feeling, it is a knowing. There are going to be times when you do not feel confident. There are going to be times when you question yourself. There are going to be times when that groundedness is going to be challenged. And just like I was saying, but you have to know who you are. You have to utilize that knowing in those moments when you're out of your comfort zone, when you're doing something new, when you're interacting with new people, when you're building a new life, and you start to question yourself and you start to wonder, like, am I doing the right thing? Like, know who you are. Confidence is a knowing, not a feeling, right? So even in those moments when you're not feeling the most confident, when you're not feeling that fiery energy of like, yes, I am that witch and whatever, right? Like, you can still tap into the inner knowing of like, but I am. Even if I don't feel it, I know I am, right? So that's definitely a strong energy that I'm getting. And if you can find that ability to tap into that inner knowing, even when the feelings aren't necessarily giving you the energy that you're hoping they will, you will find the confidence and the motivation, Eight of Wands, to build this new thing, this new life, this new partnership. I'm definitely getting that, like, there are lots of obstacles, right? But they are thought forms. They are insecurities, they are past traumas. And if you can use the tools and the skills and the abilities that you formed when you were in hermit mode, because now is the time to get out of hermit mode, Taurus. If you can use what you know to get past how you feel, you will find the motivation and the right people, places, and situations to build something very, very, very abundant, Taurus. That is the mother effing message. So I'm going to leave it there, Taurus. If the messages resonate for you, don't forget to like and subscribe. Please tell me in the confidence, it doesn't matter how I feel. I know who the F I am. Period. End of story, Taurus, okay? I hope the messages are supportive. I'm digging this energy, honestly. I'm digging these Taurus vibes. I'm going to close this out with a card for you from the Animal Spirit deck. Final message for Taurus. All right. All right. We have horse. Just going to look this up in the book. Thank you again for being here, Taurus. I appreciate you. Let me just get this from the book really quick, and we will close this reading out for y'all. Okay. momentum, freedom, expansive energy, and force. The horse represents the most masterful form of earth energy within the deck. It provides us with momentum so reliable, so supportive that you can ride on its back toward any goal, no matter how difficult the terrain. A horse personality is fully awakened, fully alive, and cannot be defeated. The horse's freedom becomes available to us when we hone and collect our energy through daily practice. Physical stamina, exercise, and mental focus, meditation are the secret weapons behind the horse's legacy. When in balance, achieves anything and never gives up. Definitely Taurus 5s. When out of balance, runs away and feels weak. To bring into balance, strength training. Continue to invest in the practices that help you to remember who the F you are, even when you're not feeling it, Taurus. That is the message. Know who the F you are, no matter how you might feel. I hope the messages resonated for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.